Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Little Turtle tutorial series from Blender Cookie. This is David Ward. When last I left you, we had kind of come to a stopping point on the design of the head and the eyelids. Next we're going to kind of modify the head just a little bit, and then we'll work on down to the body and everything. So that being said, let's just jump in and start working. The head's kind of bugging me a little bit. I would like to make the nose a little bit different. So let's tab into edit mode. And let's select all these guys here on the front. Make sure proportional editing is turned on so the inside of the mouth also is fixed. I just want to move this up a little bit so it's a little bit closer in, like so. And yeah, that's that improved it quite a bit in my opinion. Smooth out the bridge of the nose area here. Let's just go ahead and bring that down a little bit there in edit mode. Maybe bring these up a little bit there. Okay, and the back of the head kind of has a spine looking thing to it coming out, so let's kind of smooth that up a little. There we go. Sometimes the smooth tool works pretty well, but or most times it works really well, but when you have a mirror modifier, sometimes it doesn't behave as you might want it to, so sometimes you just got to go in there manually and kind of just manually fix it. Okay, so let's move on. We've got the head pretty well cut out. Let's go ahead and grab some of these faces down here on the bottom. Let's extrude out and scale that down. This is going to be his neck. So let's scale that on the x-axis a little bit and rotate it on the y. There we go. Move it down. Tell you what, let's just go ahead and drag it down to where it meets his shoulders. And we'll just go ahead and add a couple of loops up in here and then scale those down. And tell you what, let's get Vertex Select mode and let's select all of these guys here. And even let's go ahead and select that as well. We're going to smooth those to where they kind of come off of the neck a little bit better. We'll smooth the bottom of the head there a bit too. Select the bottom ones there, scale them up just a bit. And we'll select the center one here. Maybe Alt-S makes it a little skinnier. It scales it along its normals rather than just its space, the space that it's taking up. So it makes it a little skinnier and stuff instead of just smaller. Okay. Still looking a little squared off, but we'll go ahead and work on the rest of the torso area real quick. Then we'll get back in there and straighten that out. So the design I'm going for, let me pull this up real quick. Hold on just a sec. Okay, this is just a very, very rudimentary design. I drew it with my mouse and anyways, so this is kind of the proportions I'm going for. It's kind of a big head, big hands, feet, but small body and arms and legs. So that's kind of the overall look we're going to go for there. So let's extrude down one more and kind of just make this a little bit bigger. This is going to be a shoulder area. Maybe a little bigger on the y-axis as well. Then we'll go ahead and scroll down. Not scroll, but extrude down. Now his torso is going to be covered up by his little turtle shell, so we don't really have to put a lot of detail in there. So let's just kind of get just some general shape put in there. And also, when you're extruding down, it usually extrudes out, along its faces. So instead of being perfectly, on the z-axis, it kind of did it out to the side. But easily fixed. We'll just drag that over until it gets to the middle. And we'll select this loop here and do the same thing. And this loop here and do the same thing. Okay, so you can kind of see the proportions there I'm going for. Still got the smooth tool selected, so let's just kind of use that. Just kind of come in here, smooth up around the neck. There we go. Okay, let's define his neck a little bit more. Turtles are known for their long necks, which is a clothing item. The turtleneck. Make that a little smaller. Maybe grab this guy here. If I can get it. There we are. Just kind of smooth that back up. I'll tell you what, let's get the grab tool, see if we can't play with it a little bit. Get this a little skinnier. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. Kind of got some weird shape going on there. Let's go ahead and smooth that out. Same thing there. And oops. Smooth. Clicked on the wrong one. Kind of fattened it back up, fixing it, didn't it? Let's go ahead and scale that right back down. Okay. I think that'll work. Uh-oh, I'm noticing some weirdness there inside the mouth. What is that? Okay, that's just where we were sculpting it earlier on part 1. I guess some of that got smashed over towards the middle. Easily fixed. Maybe I'll grab part of it and just drag it up. That's better. Okay. Okay, so now the arms and legs. Be a piece of cake. Let's grab the face select tool. And let's just select these 6 faces right here. Let's go to our front view. We're going to extrude out and then scale it down. Rotate it just a little bit. Bring it back in. Scale it down a little bit more. And then extrude out just a little bit, just so we have a lot of vertices here on the joint. It's a good idea to have a lot of vertices on a sharp joint that's going to be turning a lot, because it helps keep the definition of it. So we'll do that there. Put a couple of loops in. And we'll extrude out down to where the elbow is going to be. So we'll say the elbow is probably going to be, yeah, we'll say about right there. And let's add a couple of loops in here and then scale those down. It's going to have real skinny arms and then big hands. Scale the shoulder up just a little bit. Maybe add one more loop right there and scale that down. Give a little bit of muscle definition. Round them out. Tell you what, that's really sharp there. Let's just, grab the smooth tool and let that do some of the work for us. Like so. Okay, and you can see that rounded it out quite a bit better. So now let's move on down the arm. The face select mode again. Just select these ones there on the end. And then we'll extrude out just a little bit. Like I said before, we like to have extra vertices there on the joints. So we'll put some there on the elbow. Then we'll extrude out. And like I said, I guess the forearm and the hand are going to be quite a bit bigger than the rest of the arm. And I'm not going to give him, you know, intricate fingers and everything. We're just going to kind of give just little indications of fingers, as it were. Real small little nubs, I guess, that are kind of webbed together. It's not a sea turtle, but you know, he's not going to be. He's humanistic, but he's not going to be so humanistic in that he has, you know, human hands and everything. Just kind of do a mixture of human and turtle. Let's make the wrist. This would be the wrist area. We'll move that quite a bit further up the arm. Same thing there. There's another thing you can do. Control E, and we can do edge slide, and that slides those vertices. So you don't have to worry about making sure they're in the right plane or something as you're moving them. Okay, so I want to make the wrist bigger. There we go. And the shape of this isn't really what I'm looking for right now, but we'll get the hand and everything on there, and then we'll go back in there and modify it and make it look better. So let's give him a little bit of a thumb, about like so, just a little nub sticking up there, and then kind of the same type of thing for the fingers. And since it's kind of a cartoonish character, we'll just give him, well, I was going to say we'll give him 3 fingers, but I guess since he's a turtle, maybe we can just give him 2 fingers and a thumb. It's kind of how the Ninja Turtles are, right? They just got the 2 fingers on each hand and the thumb. But then they only have 2 toes on each foot. They're kind of missing a digit down there. Okay, and then so it is kind of like that. But the joints will be up in here, so it'll be kind of like he's wearing mittens or something. He will be able to move his fingers around, but they'll kind of move together. Okay, so let's kind of modify this to where it's shaped a little bit better. Put another loop there so I can have a nice round tip of the thumb right there. Could do the same thing on the fingers, but I don't want to add any more loops around the length of the arm. So let's just grab these squares here. Bring those out. And then there we go. Tell you what, let's add one more loop right there and one right there, just so we have a little bit more definition between each of these fingers. And then we'll bring a vertex down here just so he has a little bit of a palm. Bring those in some. And tell you what, let's put one loop here just so he has more bendability there in that area. And with the smooth tool still selected, let's just come in here and start, making this look a little bit more organic, as it were. I'll tell you what, let's grab this thumb and kind of rotate it a little bit more this way, and maybe add one more loop in here. Okay, so that's looking okay. Let's smooth the edge right there up. Okay, now let's move the wrist area a little closer to the hand. So I'm going to go Control E, edge slide. I guess you can only do that with one loop, one edge loop selected. Edge slide, yeah. So I'll just move that up there. Do this one, same thing, edge slide, and then edge slide there. Okay, so now I'd like to make a little bit more definition between the hands and between the forearms and the upper arms. So let's add another loop in here for the elbow, and maybe scale that down a little bit. And maybe one more loop right there, just so we have more mass there on the forearm. Make sure my proportional editing's turned on. Let's go ahead and scale that up. And I tell you what, let's just grab the whole hand right there. Let's go ahead and scale that up too. I can kind of see that's kind of taken on the shape that I was envisioning with my really, really rough character sketch. And maybe drag that up just a tad. So we're getting a sharp edge there. So we still have our smooth sculpt tool selected. So let's just run that along the edge there. And maybe give a little bit of definition of a wrist right there. And maybe one right there. Okay. Now I'd like to define the shoulder area a little bit better. Let's put a loop right there. Maybe scale that down some. Move it in on the x-axis a little bit better. And let's just grab the whole arm. Just kind of resituate it. And let's define the armpit area a little bit. Let's put a loop right there. Actually, let me undo that. Try it again. Control R, and let's slide it a little closer in to the body. We'll grab this area here and move that up. Maybe round off the top of the shoulders a little bit better. Okay, so that's looking okay. Smooth this up just a tad. There we are. Okay, let me go ahead and save this. It's part 2. There we go. And wait for my computer to wake up. Ever since I upgraded my hard drive to a terabyte, it's like every time I save something, it's got oh, he's been working? Really? Okay, let me save it. Even though I've been working for 20-30 minutes. Anyways. Let's go ahead and do the legs now. I'll quit belly aching. Just select these guys right here. And we'll kind of do like we did on the shoulder. Just extrude it out just a little bit and then scale it down. Rotate it a bit. Extrude some more. Just rearrange it a tad bit there. And extrude down to where the knees will be. Right there. Same thing like we did on the wrist. Or the elbow. There. And then scale down for the feet. Maybe rotate them. Extrude one more. Tell you what, let's go ahead and clean this up. I'm sure it's not looking, yeah, it's very, very square. So let's select all of these and move them forward so he's actually standing on them, not just, so they're not just floating in space. Maybe select the torso here. Let's add one more loop there. I know we're not going to see a lot of his torso, but I'd still like to give it a good general shape that we can shape the shell around once we get to that point. Kind of a youthful, childish looking body. There we go. Okay, so a smooth tool. Let's go ahead and run that over the legs just to get those unsquared. Okay, so now we'll jump back into edit mode and start detailing these up a little bit better. Let's add one more loop right there, just for some definition there at the top of the leg. And then let's add another couple of loops. Let's just add one right there for now. And then tell you what, let's select this whole bottom section there. That's all the faces that we originally started extruding. Scale that down on the Z-axis until we can kind of get it flat. Actually, just go SZ0, so we're going to make it completely flat right there. Scaling it 0% on the X-axis. So, oops. Let's turn off the proportional editing. There we go. And now we can turn it back on. There we go. I like to turn it on, turn it off, just so it doesn't affect something I'm working on for that part. We flatten the bottom out, then we try to flatten that part out too. But as you could see, the proportional editing had other ideas, wanted to mess with what we'd already done. So, anyways, kind of make the thigh match the upper arm. Kind of getting there. Still got a little bit of work to do, obviously. Let's add another loop, another couple of loops in here. There we go. And let's move this guy down. Control E. And we're going to edge slide that down pretty close to the bottom where it's nice and flat. Maybe move that guy down as well. Let's select the whole bottom part of the leg. Let's go ahead and scale that up, just like we did with the hand. Maybe drag it down just a little. And let's select the knee, kind of move that out to where it looks a little more natural. Make the thigh a little bit bigger, just like I said, so it looks a little more natural. Bring the pelvic area down a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save this. And we're not done yet. I'm going to add a couple of little toes poking out there. And we'll kind of do like on the Ninja Turtles and just add, well, you know what? I was going to say we'll just add 2, but I think I will go ahead and add 3, just so it's more uniform there. So we'll add a main one, I think, right here. Oops, these two. Just extrude out just a little bit, just to give the indication. We'll go ahead and W smooth. Oops. Smooth it too many times. It's 5, so let's bump that down just to 1. Maybe move it out just a little. Okay, then we'll do the same thing right here. This will be his little pinky toe. Scale it out, W smooth just a little. Scale it down. Okay, and then finally let's make a smaller little toe right here. Normally it would be on a human, it would be his big toe, but this will be just a little indicator of another little toe there. Okay, now the toes look a little flat, so let's select that loop at the top of them. Right there. Just go ahead and move that up some. Okay, now let's give a little bit of definition to where the ankle would be. First of all, let's grab that whole foot and just kind of rotate it out a little bit better. Oops. So if we get too close to the middle, the vertices want to start merging together, so be careful with that. So we'll add another loop there, maybe scale that down just a little. And I'd like the legs to be a little more like the hands, to where it kind of tapers into the thickness rather than starting off so quickly. So let's select that loop there and kind of make it a little smaller. There we go. Maybe select the foot itself. Okay, everything's starting to twist around, so let's make sure it's all pretty. Okay, so now I think if we add a little bend to the knee, bring the knee vertices up forward. Let's grab these guys and kind of just smooth those. Bring the knee down a little. Like I said before in all my other tutorials, you can spend hours sitting there tweaking back and forth how you want something to look, but for the sake of a tutorial, it may not come out, 100% the way I would like. So I kind of have to not necessarily rush through it, but I can't I don't have the leisurely time to take when I'm just goofing around on my own. Give him a nice little calf muscle there. Maybe bring the back of the ankle in some. Grab his whole foot, move that forward. Okay, well that's looking okay. I think the whole bottom half of the body is a little too big for the relative size. So let's just select everything. Put our 3D cursor right there on his chest area. Make sure it's centered up there. We'll go to our side view, kind of centered up in there. And then we're going to hit the period button, and it's going to scale around the 3D cursor. Okay, well, somehow it jumped out over there. There we go. Must have clicked out there on accident. Huh. It's weird. Keeps putting it over there. Interesting. Anyways, must be a small bug or something. But anyways, so we're going to scale around that. And like so. And there we go. I think I like that a little bit better. The body's looking a little weird, especially his back. So let me fix that real quick. Then got a little bit of time. Maybe we'll go ahead and start working on the shell. Add one more loop right there. So grab his waist. Buttons are all getting crazy. There we go. For some reason I couldn't select that loop like I wanted to. Control comma will scale and rotate around the 3D cursor again. Okay, so I got the smooth tool. Let's go ahead and go back in here. See some sharp edges that I don't want. So let's just bounce back in there and Smooth that all up. Okay, let me get the grab tool. Push and pull a few things here and there. Let's make his posterior look a little better. Tell you what, let's turn on the wire view again. Let's see what we're doing. A lot of this is going to be covered up by the shell, but like I said, I like to get the basic shape down just for what the shell doesn't cover. Nice little hiney. Okay, give him a little pooch, a little belly pooch. Had too many crickets. I don't know. What do turtles eat? Lettuce. Every time I ever had a pet turtle as a child, I always fed it lettuce. Okay, almost there. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. A few more minor adjustments here and there. Windows is always doing something. I always see that little hourglass thing pop up for no apparent reason. Oh yeah, forgot you can't use the sculpt tool on the mirrored side. Okay, turn the wire back off, see what he looks like. Okay, he's looking pretty good. Real nice and turtle-ish, I think. Once we get the shell on there, I think it'll look pretty good. So let's go ahead and save. And let's go back into object mode. And tell you what, for the shell, I'm going to kind of just duplicate his body so it has pretty much the same topology for the most part. But the way we're going to do that is let's just select everything where let's go to face select mode. Right there, pink. And go ahead and select about where the shell is going to be. And kind of like a backpack of sorts, I guess. Straps over the shoulders. And I guess we don't need that on the thigh. And we don't need that one. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and Shift D, duplicate that. And we'll Alt S to make it a little bit bigger. If I can. There we go. Alt S. And we'll start using this as his shell. Now I'd like this to be a separate model. So what I'm going to do is if I hit P, I can separate what I have selected. So I'll go separate selection. And now I tab. You can see that it became solid. It's not, you can't select the faces like you can on the rest of the model. So I'll tab out and I'll select it. And you can see now it's cube.001 rather than the turtle himself, which is cube. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and rename that. Turtle, we'll say turtle body. One big word with capital separation. And turtle shell. Lowercase h. Okay. Alright, so now we can start working on the shell and have that look a little more turtle shellish, if that's a word. Just select that, kind of just round it out on the back. You know what you almost do is just get a UV sphere and just kind of modify that, but I'm thinking I might want to do that, but since we're already going this way, we'll just keep going. Tell you what we can do. Well, I was going to use the Spherify effect, which I'll go ahead and show you what it does. you just go to, you select everything that you want to be spherified, and you go to Mesh, Transform to Sphere, and that rounds everything out. You know what? Maybe I will use it just a little bit, about like so. Yeah. And then we can just jump in here and select everything. I'll select everything, I guess. Scale it on the Z-axis to make it a little longer. There we go. Okay, so let's work on the armholes in the shell there to make those a little bit bigger. Bring them down to where his arms are actually coming through them. Then maybe grab the bottom lip there and drag that down. So he's got plenty of clearance. And maybe grab the top as well, drag that around. We can make the front a little skinnier than the back. The back's going to have the round shell, and the front will have shell too, but we'll make it a little skinnier, just so his arms can have more range of motion. So let's kind of do the same thing on the leg holes, make those a little bit bigger. Maybe a little closer together too. Let's go ahead and select that whole loop and just hit smooth so it's rounded a little bit better. Bump the numbers up. Okay, so let's get the sculpt tools again. The old smooth. Come in through here and kind of just start cleaning this up a little bit. Let's make these leg holes a little bit bigger. Excuse me. Maybe look like he's wearing a winter coat or something that's way too big. He inherited his shell from his older brother. Smooth that out. Apologize if I get quiet from time to time. Sometimes I just get lost in the work. Okay, let's bring this out further on the belly so it's not poking through. Okay, I think that's good for the front. Now let's work on getting the back situated. Tell you what, let's kind of make the armhole just a little bit smaller. Let's grab the back and let's grab all of these faces back here. I guess we'll not use that one. But let's grab these and we'll extrude these out quite a ways so we can play with them a little bit before doing anything else to them. And we'll make these a little more rounded. Drag that up, round this corner off. And then make the bottom rounded a little bit more too. And then, of course, bring it rounded out on the back as well. Okay, so let me use the old smooth tool. Maybe that'll help expedite this a little bit. Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, so now I'll select that whole. Let's put a loop right in here between the actual shell and then the parts that's closer to his skin, so we can have a little bit more defined separation. Maybe we'll scale the whole shell up again. Okay, so that's starting to look okay. round this out a little bit. Okay, I'm thinking I like the back, the shell on the back. Let's add a tiny little bit, kind of the same type of thing to the front. Just a little bit of separated piece there. And I guess not that one. Okay, kind of do the same thing. Scale that up a little. But not quite as extreme as the one on the back. It's a bit smaller shell there. I'll go and add another loop cut in there. Go and Alt-S to scale that down just so there's more, again, definite transition there. And let's round this corner off. Maybe bring the sides in a little bit more so it's kind of okay, so that's looking pretty good, I think. What do you guys think? You liking him? I just think he's looking kind of cute and cuddly. If a turtle can be cuddly, I don't know. I guess you can cuddle with a turtle, but it wouldn't be a very warm cuddle, I wouldn't imagine. You know, because they're cold-blooded, you know. So. Okay, one more thing on this shell. Let's extrude out one more time just so there's, oops, just so there's a sharper edge there on the back. Extrude out one more time like so, and let me select this loop. We'll extrude that out. There we go. And just turn off proportional editing so I can scale it up. A little bit bigger. Let's go Alt-S. Okay, so let me get the grab. I say, okay, like I'm about done. And then I'm like, nope. Still goofing with it. Just kind of give them a lip to the shell. And let's do the same thing on the front while we're at it. Let's just select this loop right there and just extrude that as well. Scale it out, size it up just a little. Maybe move it forward just a little bit so it kind of has a... Tell you what, let's select this loop right, if I can grab it. Zoom in here. There we go. Extrude that forward just a little bit. Let me scale that down some. There we go. I think I'll do the same thing back here. There we go. Oops, just this back one. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there's our little turtle guy. Before we call the shell done, the body part is not actually matching the shell part because it's kind of just out there. There's a couple things we could do. We could add a Solidify modifier to it where it would add thickness to it, but it's going to add thickness over across the whole thing. Actually, you know what? It's not. Let me show you something here. Okay, let's add the Solidify modifier. Boom, Solidify. And you can see, so minimize some of these. If we make the thickness quite a bit bigger, you can see it kind of does the job we were wanting it to do. Add thickness there inside the rest of the shell. But it's doing it everywhere, and you can see it's a problem on the thick part of the shell already. So but we can fix that. We can fix that by adding a vertex group to this and using the solidify only on that. So let's select these vertices here on each edge, like so. And is that it? Just the 3? Yes. And we're going to go to our object data and add a vertex group here. And we're going to call this one, we'll just call this one openings. Okay. And now we're going to assign these vertices that we have selected to that group. Okay. So now on our modifiers, we're going to say this little box here that's got the circle of squares with the one in the middle, that's for your vertex groups. We'll say openings. Now it's only going to apply the solidify to those vertices. So you can see now it's way too thick, so let's scale that down. Let's have it offset. One thing I didn't think about is it kind of has a harsh transition between these vertices and then the next one. So I'll tell you what, let's just go ahead and not use the solidify. And I guess we can go ahead and get rid of that vertex group as well. But an easy way to kind of do the same thing that the solidify was going to do is just select each opening and extrude out and then scale it down. And then maybe drag it up just a little bit. Maybe add one more loop out here just to give the illusion of thickness, like so. We'll do the same thing up here. Extrude, scale it down. Maybe move it in a little bit, and then maybe add one more loop out here. Move that out. Scale that one down. Like so. Nice way to kind of cheat. Same thing on the collar. Add one more there. Okay. So there we go. Little turtle guy's coming along. I don't know. What do you want to name? Mortimer or something? Something old-fashioned like that? I don't know. Let me fix the knee right there. That's kind of bugging me. Grab the actual turtle instead of the shell now. Object mode. Just move that out just a little bit. Okay. So, wow. Sorry about this part taking so long. 40 minutes, but we got quite a bit accomplished. So, I think that's going to be it for part 2. Go ahead and save this guy. And in part 3, we'll get in and start... and well, I guess we'll probably go ahead and make the eyeballs themselves and edit the eyelids so that you can actually see the eyeballs, and then maybe close the mouth up and add some shape keys or something to that effect. And then maybe, if we have time, we'll start getting into some texturing. So, again, that's going to be all for part 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in part 3.